Gentlemen, welcome back to Sober is Dope. I'm very excited to be back today. I found an interesting article online, and this is all about the power of sobriety and this amazing sober transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, as you can see in the before and after thumbnail, the actor Shaun Weiss found recovery, and he's been going through many changes. He has over 200 days in recovery, and you can see such a major difference. The reason why I love this is I can relate to this. Shaun and I are similar ages. He's about 2 or 3 years older than me, and I know what it feels like to struggle with addiction, to pretty much almost be homeless in my case, but in his case he was homeless, and to really struggle, and to see his miraculous transformation in under a year. He looks like a totally different person. This is an amazing testimony to everyone out there who's struggling with addiction. I really want you guys to understand the power of recovery. You could transform your life back from anything. And many people give up on recovery or give up on the idea of recovery because deep down they don't believe that they could change, or they don't believe that they could transform and bring their life back to a place where it's meaningful. And I don't want anyone out there to stay in that darkness longer than they need to because they don't believe in themselves. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is really cool. I don't know if you guys remember the movie Mighty Ducks, about those the young hockey players who really had to rise up, and they went through a lot with the controversial coach, and they wound up pretty much winning the championship and going through a lot of different adversities. It was a really cool movies in the 90s, and Shaun Weiss was one of the main stars. And it goes to show you that Hollywood, or whether you're an actor, whether you're in a high place or in Hollywood, addiction hits all of us, just like in the case of Robert Downey Jr. I always tell people, if Robert Downey Jr. didn't become sober, he would have never been Iron Man, right? And we all know him as Iron Man, but he would have missed out on that pivotal opportunity if not for his recovery. So I want to use this as an example and a base for anyone out there. And I want to share some images with you. Check this out, ladies and gentlemen. This is really, I found this to be so cool. So this is Shaun Weiss. Check it out here. Mighty Duck star Shaun Weiss, now 270 days sober after living on the streets. Look at this before and after photo. Look at that. Right now, some of his friends or someone could have saw Shaun on the streets and didn't even recognize him. But in 271 days, he starts to look totally normal again, and like as if he never really struggled. And this article here is about how, they did a GoFund campaign so he could get his new teeth. So look at that. And I find this inspirational, ladies and gentlemen. So let's take a look here. After living on the streets over the last 3 years, Mighty Duck star Shaun Weiss is 271 days sober and recently received a new set of teeth. Over the last few years, Weiss has struggled with meth and heroin addiction, which resulted in a few run-ins with the law. Most recently, on January 26, he was arrested after breaking into a garage to sleep. Look, ladies and gentlemen, and this is why I say we have to have compassion for anyone that's in recovery, because, sometimes, you see someone on the streets and they're homeless and they're just hungry and they just want a place to sleep. And, it's easy for us to judge, but any one of us could be there. And addiction could bring you to a really low place really fast. The homeowner called police during the break-in, and officers found Weiss in the car when they arrived. He was charged with being under the influence of methamphetamine and residential burglary. His best friend, Drew Gallagher, who met him while working on Weiss' 2016 pilot, Blessed, did not give up on him. Gallagher said Weiss was just looking for a place to sleep after his estranged sister threw him on the streets after living there for 2 days. The night he broke into the car in Yuba, he broke in and slept, Gallagher said. All he had was pajamas and a T-shirt. It was his lowest point. Gallagher said Weiss tested positive for drugs because Gallagher gave him Suboxone, which was used for addicts weaning off of addiction. So, ladies and gentlemen, so this is a person who was thrown out of a place where he considered home, and he was just looking for a place to sleep. But not just that, what I find amazing here is that he was actively taking a drug that helps him wean off of methamphetamine, which is Suboxone. And so he was trying to work towards his recovery, right? And everything works in a specific way, and everything happens for a reason. So check this out. Gallagher said Weiss tested positive for drugs because he gave him Suboxone, which is used for addicts weaning off of addiction. He stopped using drugs for good just before Christmas last year, Gallagher said. Over the 3 years, Gallagher bought Weiss cars to live in as a former child actor battled schizophrenia while using drugs on the street. After Weiss' latest arrest, Gallagher fervently raised money and contributed on his own to get Weiss into a substance abuse rehab facility. Look at that. That's amazing. His fans is all I had, he said. Everyone that has helped me, he is so thankful. The GoFundMe caught the eye of several dentists who hoped to restore Weiss's teeth that were eroded by drug use. Gallagher said a few wanted thousands of dollars until one, Dr. Gabe Rosenthal, thank you, Dr. Gabe, offered to restore his teeth for just $120. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. Our guy looks good. He has his new teeth and he's healthy. And he actually looks like he's doing really well in recovery. On Wednesday, Weiss had his front teeth restored. It follows several months of hard work by Weiss at a substance abuse center in Woodland Hills, California, where he has gained several pounds back and has been sober for the last 271 days as of this Saturday. In addition to getting sober, specialists there have helped straighten out Weiss's severe hunch. Gallagher said prior to that, he had problems with simply standing up straight. While at the center, Weiss saw that others had become rideshare drivers after leaving to make money. Gallagher said Weiss' goals are to get his own apartment and to be able to make money to support himself. Eventually, he wants to get back on the big screen and back into stand-up comedy. Gallagher is glad his best friend is getting the help he deserves while always having his back. He's my brother, Gallagher said. I wouldn't never give up on him. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, if you know anyone struggling with meth or opioid use, you can call the National Treatment Referral Hotline at 1-800-662-4357. That's also, again, 1-800-662-4357. Ladies and gentlemen, I really want to share this with you today. This is an awesome testimony. And look at that right there. You can't beat that. That's beautiful. That's absolutely amazing. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. And I want to just say my final thoughts on this are simple. If you know someone that's struggling with addiction, have mercy on them and look, try to help them out. You never know what someone is struggling with. Also, you see a homeless person on the street. Look, they could be a former senator, a former president, a former friend, a former family. You never know. Addiction could bring anyone to a really low place. It really does not discriminate. Addiction affects every one of us differently, but it could hurt us all the same. So have love and have compassion. And if you're someone out there struggling with addiction, alcoholism, or opioid misuse, whether that's drugs, heroin, pills, crack, anything like that, remember, it's never too late to be amazing. That's my personal statement that I want to share with you. It's never too late. Don't give up on yourself and really love yourself and take the time to really figure out what you want and go for it. Go for it. And remember, there's a lot of people who will invest and help you to get rehab and go to rehab and stuff like that. I remember one thing in my addiction. I used to need help. I needed a lot of help at some point. And I remember in the end, it was really hard to get help in order to get more alcohol, but it was real easy to get help to go to rehab or to have someone, help me transform my life. So the people around you may be tired and they may be frustrated because it's justified, but they may always be willing to assist you if you're serious. So don't feel like all the doors are closed on you. Just try to help. In our friend Shaun Weiss's case, he was taking drugs to help him wean off, and he just needed a place to sleep. And he was taking the steps, and somehow life brought him to a real good place where he could get the treatment that he deserved, and with the GoFund campaign, get his new teeth, and now his dreams, and he could hope again. He went from being in a state of fear and a low place to now saying, well, I can't wait to get back to the big screen and do my stand-up comedy. That's a testimony, and that's inspirational, if I could say it for myself. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Sober is Dope. I'm Pop Buchanan. I love you, and I hope you enjoyed this quick, sober testimony of transformation. I'll catch you guys on the other side. Thank you.